Hello, this is Nana. I wanted to pop in to talk about why having a chart can make a big difference. And so, to that end, we're going to have a series of videos so that you can pick which video you want. I know that on YouTube you can segment out and you can pick your segments, and I might do that. I don't know if I even know how to do that, to be honest with you. But I do think maybe it's just easier if I give you a series of videos. So this video is going to go up on YouTube, and it's just going to talk about why charts matter, why they can be helpful to you, and what's the benefit to your making to learn how to use them. Now, do you have to know how to use a chart to crochet? Nope. Do you have to know how to use a chart to knit? Nope. Will knowing how to read charts make some crochet easier? Absolutely. Yes, yes, and yes. Will knowing how to read a chart make some knitting easier? Unequivocally, yes. Is it hard to learn to read a chart? No. Learning to read a chart is as difficult as learning to ride a bike, learning to read in the first place, learning to read a recipe, learning to cook from a recipe, learning to use a sewing pattern. It takes effort, absolutely takes effort, but it's not hard. What I'm going to be going over are 3 separate for both knit and crochet. I'm going to have both. If you make the payment in Ko-fi for the tutorials, it's going to give you both. So all videos will be accessible under the same, because you're going to have a password or have the link to the playlist. That's going to be a private playlist that requires the link. So you'll get that when you make payment in Ko-fi. So it's going to go over how to read the different, how to read the codes, the key, how to read a key, and it'll go over how to crochet or knit off of the chart. I'm going to have a separate one for reading if you're crocheting and knitting left-handed, and then a different one for right-handed, because those stitches are different depending on which way that you're reading the chart, but so that you're understanding how to read the charts and how to work them, and then also how to switch reading them if you're working flat or working in the round. And then the final tutorial will be how to create a chart from written instruction. Now, you don't have to ever do that, but I find if the pattern is written and does not have a chart, sometimes it's hard for me to know if the pattern has an error or if I'm making a mistake. If there's a chart, I can lay my project next to that chart to know, look at the chart, look at my knitting, or look at the chart, look at my crochet, and see if they are in step. If they're not in step, then maybe the issue is my project. You know what I mean? It's like maybe that I did something wrong in my making. The other option is sometimes the designer has an error in their chart. So then I can take that chart that I'm working that it's not working, it doesn't look right. I can go back to the written, and then I can intelligently go to the designer and say, hey, the instructions say this, the chart says the same, but it doesn't lay right. And then send them a photo of the knitting in the way it's written versus what I think it should be or what I think they're trying to do, and just ask which one's right. And sometimes even the chart is correct, the written instructions is correct, but I don't like the look. And there is nothing wrong with that. You can make something, you can even get it completed and go, you know what? I'm glad I learned from making that, but it's not my favorite. Or you can start making something, get a little ways into it and go, yeah, that's not the look I'm going for. And you can choose to do something else. But before you choose, just make sure that it's right. And sometimes charts can tell you that before you even start. So sometimes I can look at a patterns chart and look at it and go, yeah, that's not what I'm looking for. That is not the look I was hoping to achieve from this pattern. I think I want to find a different pattern before I even cast on. And that's why, for me, knowing how to read charts is a game changer in my knitting. It reduces the amount of time I spend stopping a project and casting something else on because I didn't like how it turned out. Because a lot of times the written pattern, you can't tell that. But if it's in a chart, you absolutely can see what it's going to come out to be. So when possible, I like having charts. I personally will not work a pattern that doesn't have a chart if it's cable or lace. If you give me a lace pattern and there are no charts in it, I'm going to be very unhappy and never purchase from you again, because I can knit lace from written instructions. I choose not to. Life's too short. And I can follow a lace chart so much easier than trying to read what I'm supposed to do one stitch at a time. It's just so much easier for me. And I hope by the end of the tutorials, it's easy for you. Along the way, if you have questions, always reach out. That's what I'm here for. If you want a detailed lesson that involves a specific pattern, or if you're like, hey, you know what, I haven't ever really gotten brave to do cables because whatever, absolutely, I can help you with that. So just let me know. Thanks. Have a great day.